Hence, this makes it, or should make it, impossible for anyone to make a living income from speculation. They can make a small profit because, as you recall, there was the allowance to lend less than 1/4, and if the loan is not in the business sector, but for example consumption credit, someone could still charge an interest on this. It's not seen as a threat that people lend casual money to each other. Small amounts, on the contrary, can be useful. Also, in general sense, investment capital is not very dangerous in the beginning of an economy, when very small operations are starting, because the economy is then dominated by real productivity. Only later it starts to grow, and the plutocracy is taking over, then it becomes a real problem. So the small amount is not really a threat, the big amount is the threat. Then there is one more important way to remove debt slavery. At the bottom, I'll read this too. 8.3a, loan default, no collateral. All loans or outstanding parts thereof within the country for which there is no immediately available collateral are terminated after a maximum number of years after which they were agreed. The maximum number of years running for a non-collateral loan is 7 years. So this means that if part of a loan still exists after 7 years, but there is no collateral for it, then it is destroyed. Someone loans money for a house, and say the money is this much, and after 7 years there's paid this much back. But for example, the house reduced in value. For example, it's caved in, and the value of the home becomes this. Then this is the non-collateralized part of the loan. And after 7 years, then it is simply destroyed. But this part can remain, because it is collateralized. This means that after 7 years, every loan you will always have a reduction to what you own or what you have put up for collateral. You cannot be enslaved while owning nothing more than 7 years to a loan. After that, it's certainly destroyed. Well, this obviously does present an interesting problem with regard to student loans. Well, in this system as proposed, the solution is to make study work for useful trades. So people can simply get money for getting another exam passed. They work, they invest in themselves, and in this way the society invests in people who know how to do these things. Then after they have done this, they are completely free, or at least they are not chained to some sort of a debt, and then they have no reason to demand an extremely high income from the rest of society in order to repay the loan, which is of course always a trick people with high paying jobs are often using. Oh, I have to pay back my loan, and therefore I deserve extreme amount of wealth. And then it's just foot in the door and runaway process. People who want to do non-useful work, useful educations, or beyond the quota, or whatever the policies may be, they can obviously still try to make loans on collateral, work besides it, all that kind of stuff. Well, that's roughly the idea. Then here are the laws for distributing of land. It's only 2 pages. Now the general issue not covered by the Constitution is that the government does not lend. It is simply a corruption that the government lends its own money back. And it is a way for the rich people and institutions banking to avoid taxation. Because what they are doing is the bank and here the government say it should be a democracy. The government lends money, but it should really tax everyone. But everyone doesn't like to be taxed, especially the rich who should be taxed especially. And then the rich say, well, no, we're going to lend you money so we can later get it back with interest. And then the rich are happy, the politicians are happy, and the people are also happy, right? Because here goes the money. He thinks I get it back plus interest. I only have to wait. These don't understand anything, and they see that they are not being taxed and don't have to fight the rich, so they get their enjoyments. Then the politicians are happy because they are making their voters happy with the goodies, and they can get voted into place. And secondly, they get the support of the rich who like this lending. Well, that's step one. Everyone is happy. But then the loan has to be repaid. And then these are no longer happy. Well, I don't know what politicians think. So that's the problem. What should have happened? No lending, no paying back of loans, taxation. And that is really this struggle between the rich and the poor which is being avoided by loans, which should be won. How do you win this? Like so, and like revolution. Money, land, man. The three forms of power seem to be money, high amounts of money, land, ownership of land, think the feudal system for example, and direct control over people. This can either be companies or the government. These things are dealt with by democratic investment, democratic land distribution, democratized ventures, and a real democratic government. In other words, a David system. Hope you like it.